Welcome to Everyday Economics, the podcast that helps you learn about the economic world happening around you every day. I'm your host, Krug, president of 501c3 nonprofit, nonpartisan Franklin News Foundation. Everyday Economics is a production of America's Talking Network. You can check out all of our great podcasts at americastalking.com. To support Everyday Economics, please make a tax-deductible charitable contribution by clicking the link in the show description. We are recording today's episode on Friday, September 15th, and joining me as always, Dr. Orphe Divounguy. He's a PhD economist. Dr. O, we're going to talk about oil prices. And I'm going to start you off with this. And headwind, tailwind, no wind.
Yeah, look, again, it depends. I mean, we have some oil production right here in the United States, and that might actually help us a little bit. At the same time, it could also hurt, right? So global oil prices increasing because of a supply shock, because basically Saudi Arabia, Russia, extending their oil output cuts, at least to the end of 2023. And they're doing it because I don't really know why, but we're not necessarily friends anyway.
I have a hint why, and I'll say it. We drained the strategic oil reserves earlier this year, and now we're filling them back up. And coincidentally, at the same time, Saudi Arabia and Russia are like, well, you know what? We're not going to make it as easy on you as just doing it. So, certainly, I mean, if they pull back and they stop producing, makes it that much harder for us to do it economically and or efficiently. And so there you go. That's why gas prices and and anything related to fuel for vehicles and other such things went absolutely kablooey. In August, it's settled down in my market at a retail level, but we're not through the back end of this just yet.
Well, I am a little optimistic. Here's my optimism.
You're always a little optimistic. You need to be a little bit less optimistic, I think, sir.
Here's why.
I'm kidding.
Global economic growth is slowing, so global demand for oil is likely going to slow. And so the effect might not be as big and bad as it would have been had we been in a period of expansion, right? In a period where things were rising really fast on the demand side. So that is why I'm somewhat optimistic. But yeah, it's definitely an issue. In fact, it might be part of the reason why things are going to slow down even more, right? The fact that basically we're getting the supply shock that's going to affect households and businesses alike, and is going to continue to slow the economy. So that's kind of my take on this. It's not good. It's not good. It's one of the reasons why it's so important to maintain good relations with countries around the world, especially these big oil producers, because we still rely so much on crude oil. So,
well, it's important, and I appreciate that. I think that though that some of the energy policies that the United States has implemented in this administration, the Biden administration, are kind of coming home to roost. On one of the Center Square's podcasts earlier this week, here at Franklin News Foundation, talking to one of our reporters who covers Michigan and the sort of the upper Midwest, and looking at these state targets for EV production and whatnot, and of course that ties into it. We're absolutely nowhere near the targets on EV, and at the same time, we've done some things in this country deliberately to get in the way of the fossil fuel producers. So this is pain, but this isn't pain, simply out of the sky. I mean, there's some portion of this has been determined around policy, and it's just now manifesting itself as part of the economy.
Totally. But again, I mean, that would also kind of like boost some people's arguments for why we need to transition really quickly out of oil, right? Because of course, we cannot continue to be dependent on countries that we don't necessarily like doing business with.
I agree.
So I don't know.
But why not do that business here on our own? Because we can. I mean, we were energy independent as of I don't know, about 36 months ago. So it's like, hey,
first time in 2019. That's right. So exactly. I mean, again, big policy question. We probably don't have all the answers.
Well, I'm not, my intention is not to beat the president with a ball bat over this. I mean, but here's the thing, when you make decisions, the decisions have consequences. And the consequence right now is that we're being pushed about as hard as I can remember in my entire life on the energy front to go in a particular direction and to move very specifically away from oil and natural gas. And I get that. I appreciate that. And I don't want to get into a scientific debate. But here's the thing. If you're not capable of going across the transom in the period of time in which you're telling people to walk across the transom, you're going to have people falling off the ladder here. And that's what's happening. We're skipping a few rungs. I mean, in that story that I was talking about that the Center Square reported, that each one of these states, or 4 states that had put out targets for the number of EVs that they want to be registered in their states. And I think it was like Minnesota, Michigan, Illinois, and North Carolina. None of them was anywhere near the targets. And frankly, based on my understanding of the automobile industry, there's no way in the world, even if EV producers were creating EVs specifically for those 4 states, that you'd ever be able to hit the target. There's a physical impossibility here. In the A plus B does not equal C here. It just doesn't.
Let's add to that the latest strike, auto workers.
Oh,
strike.
right. And we're taping this on the 15th, and shortly before midnight in my time zone, the UAW said, we're cutting for now. People are going to walk out, and presumably they did at GM and Stellantis, and I don't know. I think Ford was involved as well. I think virtually everybody that's connected to UAW, one form or another, is taking a pause. Yeah. Well, we're not going to fix it all in 5 minutes here, right? So why don't we bring it to an end? It's always great to talk about these things. I always love to see the animation in your face, Dr. O. We talk about things that are interesting. Orphe Divounguy has been Chris Krug. Subscribe to Everyday Economics and dozens of other quality podcasts at americastalking.com.